everybody, and welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. Today we are doing our third episode of Amber Makes Rachel Watch. And this week we made Rachel watch Roswell. And so I'm here, I'm Amber, and Rachel's here.
Hi!
So Rachel, let's just jump right into it. What did you know about Roswell before you started watching?
Very little. I just knew it was a sci-fi show, that it was young adult, and that it had the guy from Cutting Edge 4.
That's right. Did I tell you that?
In our podcast, yes.
I knew. I was just kidding. I knew. It was
okay,
That's basically all I talked about in Cutting Edge 4.
Yeah. And so, that's all I knew about it. I didn't know much.
All right. Okay, so let's take a look at what you said before he started watching.
All right. Hi, everybody. So I'm here to record before I start watching Roswell for Amber Makes Rachel Watch. This one has been kind of delayed. I've just been so busy. But I'm going to try to do it this next week. And I don't know. For some reason, I felt a lot of resistance about watching this show. I'm just not that big into sci-fi, and it just didn't feel like something that I would like. But that's the whole point of this, is to kind of try something different. And so I'm willing to give it a shot. And so I'm excited to see what we get.
Okay, Rachel. So you think of it as a pretty sci-fi show in your initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Before I ask you the regular questions, would you still classify this as a sci-fi show?
Yes,
okay.
I would.
Would that be its primary designation?
You could maybe classify it just as a broad young adult, or you could classify it as a romance show, I think. But I still think I would classify it as sci-fi. Just the alien part, to me, that just makes it irreversibly sci-fi.
Okay.
Got aliens.
That works for me. I just wanted to talk about it.
What about you?
For me, it's primarily definitely just a teen drama with just like a twist.
Fair enough. That's certainly equally true.
Teen drama with an alien zest.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1, well, first off, let's say, how many episodes did you watch?
I watched 4.
Okay.
So I went deep this time.
You did. I made you. For the record, yeah. Rachel had stopped on 2, and I was like, how about you keep going? So she had to, because I'm a bully. Okay, so Rachel, on a scale of 1 to 10, how entertained were you?
I give it a 2. This is definitely by far my least favorite of the shows we watched.
Okay. Who was your favorite character?
I think it was good that you had me watch those extra things, because I think that without a doubt, Katherine Heigl's character is the best character of the show.
Okay, excellent.
I think that Katherine Heigl's really good when she's playing kind of a jerk. I think she pulls that off, kind of the I think not really jerk, but I don't want to say a naughty word, but when she's playing that kind of role where she's kind of
a brat.
Maybe that's a good way to describe it. I think she's really good actually in that. I think that's her wheelhouse.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
Who was your least favorite?
Max is my least favorite. I thought he was super bland. And I just think if you were as old as he was, you'd have something interesting about you. You'd be passionate about something. You'd like I just compare this to Dawson in Dawson's Creek. Dawson loved movies, and he had a dream of becoming the next Spielberg. He loved Steven Spielberg. He knew everything about Steven Spielberg. That makes him interesting as a character. And for me, there was nothing about about Max that made him interesting or unique. He was just, I'm going to stare at this girl a lot.
What surprised you about the show?
The best part about I did think that the production design and the moments where they would flash back to alien stuff, or just like things, they would have some more creative moments as far as some of the visual effects and things like that, I thought were kind of fun. That was sort of surprising.
What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment, I don't know if I have one particular moment, but I did like in the last 2 episodes, just Katherine Heigl's character being a kick-butt character and being fun. Like, I liked pretty much any scene she was in.
Okay, cool.
She was good. to me.
What was your least favorite moment?
My least favorite moment of the show for sure was a super awkward scene in the first episode where they're in the car and she's getting her ring, and the person observing thinks that they're doing something very grown up and very inappropriate. And
That's
I
not the
thought
first episode. That's the second, but that's okay.
Second?
Yeah.
I thought that felt very out of place and very just tonally out of place for what had happened in the rest of the show, and I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. That was my least favorite.
What do you think will happen in the rest of the show?
So here's my theory about this show. So I think, based on 4 episodes, I think that Stephenie Meyer from Twilight is a big fan of this show. This show is so much like Twilight to me. You have the character that has like basically special powers, but is super old, but is in high school.
He's not super old, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while. Like, he was asleep for all those years.
Well, Rachel, you're not going to say an elephant is super old until it's born. Like, they weren't born until 16 years ago.
Oh, I guess that was confusing then. I thought that they were around since 1959 or something like that.
Well, so their plane crashed, and then they emerged from their pods.
Okay.
Like, they were like hibernating babies.
Okay. Well, anyway, but you have this character. He has I felt like basically Max, Michael, and Isabel were very similar to Edward, Rosalie, and Emmett. I think that Maria is basically Jessica, the character, and the main 2 characters are basically their whole personality is about their being drawn inextricably to each other, mm-hmm. and having this connection to each other. And that's where most of the plots seem to lie. And that's where most of the tension seem to be. And it's not like, and full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Twilight, especially Eclipse onward. And I didn't like any of the movies. Just felt like this was very Twilight-y to me. And you love Twilight, so I totally get why you love this. But for me, I like things that have a little bit more interesting characters, that have with interesting backstories and I don't know, character. Like I said with Dawson's Creek, I think what made that show so impressive to me is because the characters dealt with very complex issues, and they each had really distinct, interesting personalities of things they liked to do and dreams they had. And I never got any of that. Maybe a little bit with Maria, but that was about it. And so that's kind of what I feel like. It'll just play out kind of like Twilight played out, but not with a baby, a weird baby, but I don't know. Basically, it'll play out that their love, it'll go back and forth, and then they'll end up in love. I mean, she can't be made an alien, I guess, like Twilight, but I don't know. Something kind of like that. I don't know. Do you think I'm completely full of it, or can you see some similarities between Twilight?
Oh, no, for sure. Like, it's very similar.
Okay,
in tone, at least the initial dynamics. I will say Roswell, I don't feel like Max and Liz are my favorite characters. They're kind of my least favorite characters.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's interesting.
There's also a character later on, not that later on, who is super irritating, but I feel like you're supposed to find her irritating, so okay. It's okay. But where this show really shines is in the secondary characters, we'll call them, or not the Max and Liz characters. I think you sort of see it in the beginning where Maria is a little bit more interesting. She becomes better. Michael becomes one of my favorite characters of all time. And then, Alex, you hardly even see Alex in the first several episodes, but he starts to become more interesting. And even the sheriff becomes like a fun character later on.
Because we talked about this on our text, but I found the sheriff to be super snooze-worthy because he's just like a bad guy, and so it's good to hear that he's sort of developed and made more interesting because he was boring to me in these first 4 episodes.
And I assume I know the answer to number 10. Are you going to keep watching?
No. This is one, definitely no. But hey, it never hurts to try something new. And it makes me want to go back and watch Dawson's Creek because I realized how much better that is than this.
If the audience votes for it again, would you refuse the audience? No? Good.
No, I guess I can't.
But I know you're not going to keep watching this. Blah, blah, blah. You hate it. Are you willing to try watching the new reboot/remake Roswell, New Mexico, which is going to be shown on CW this year?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because the characters are aged up a little bit. They're not in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they said they're going to be dealing with like immigration and undocumented illegal aliens stuff. So that'll be an interesting
the
spin.
Aliens in 2 senses of the word.
Mm-hmm. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Amber Makes Rachel Watch Roswell.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next time for whatever we decide to make Rachel watch. I'm going to put another poll up on my Twitter, which is @AmberBrainwaves, and that's it. So look at the poll, vote for how you feel, and we'll make her watch something else.
Yeah, please. Yeah, let's do. That'll be really fun. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube, so check that out.
Yes, and make sure you're following us at Hallmarkies Pod on Twitter, Instagram, all social media. We have a Facebook. Like us there. Make sure you're subscribed. Click the little subscribe button. And even though this is only on YouTube, if you want to listen to our podcasts where we talk about all things Hallmark and whatever else we feel like it, subscribe to us. We're on all podcatchers everywhere. So give us a subscribe.
Yeah, please. That would be so fun. Well, thanks. This was really fun, and I look forward to what you have for me next.
What fresh torture. All right. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.